What it do, Bruce, Juice, crew, and today we're going game by game, matchup by matchup, identifying those must-start players for our fantasy football lineups, those meh players, those guys we want to bench, and of course, those sleepers. Before we dig in, though, you need to type in down below your start-sit questions. Every Saturday night, I will be answering your start-sit questions in this very video right here, the must-start video. So you need to click that subscribe button right now so you don't miss next week's video, next year's video, the year after that. And we're also going deeper than anybody else when it comes to covering the waiver wire. We're finding hidden gems. We're covering guys covering the waiver wire. We're deep diving prospects that are starting to blow up. And then also we're helping you set these lineups. This is a free resource. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. Make Ric Flair feel thankful today since it's Thanksgiving time. But first game, first matchup we're looking at today here. We're looking at Rams-Panthers. And I'm definitely going to say this. They loaded up the bangers for Thanksgiving Day. So if you did not load up on those players who went off on Thursday, exploiting some of these matchups might get a little bit trickier, but it is doable. We're looking at Rams and Panthers. Matthew Stafford is going to be a fine start. However, this is a matchup. Vegas is planning or predicting that the Rams are going to road dog the Panthers. But Kyren Williams, I'm looking at him. The Panthers are starting to give up points every single week to the running backs. I look for him to have a good game this week, coming off a down performance. No one's going to bench Puka. Nobody's benching Devontae. I'm not too keen on the tight ends for the Rams. More often than not, I'm just looking at them as touchdown gambles. Going back to the Panthers, this is a rough defense. Bryce Young, I'm only doing it if I have to in deeper formats. Rico Dowdle is a rough start this week. This is a rougher defense. You also need him to just cross the goal line. He is a touchdown gamble. There's a chance he breaks it loose. He did that earlier in some of these matchups. They were softer matchups, though. Hopefully we get there in volume, but more than likely, he's just a touchdown gamble. T-Mac is the player you're looking at from this offense here for the Panthers. Deep ball dandy, good target share. Could bring that in. A little bit riskier this week. However, when you look at this matchup, you look at that spread at 10, there's a chance we're in the back nine of this game, middle of third quarter, into the fourth quarter, that they got to push it. They got to push it downfield. We catch some extra pass attempts in the back third of this game. JT Sanders, touchdown gamble. Look for him as a tight end you're looking at in deeper formats. And then on top of that, he's a guy to pay attention to for waiver wire ads later on. Texans, Colts, 44.5 over under. I would not be surprised if this game breaks it. I would not be surprised. The thing about this matchup is Danny Dimes versus the Texans defense. That's the matchup we're watching here, and that could make this a sticky game. That's why Vegas is middle of the road right now on that implied point total of 44.5. That's why it could break it. There's potential here. We have good weapons on both sides of the ball. When you're looking at what the Colts have, Pittman, Pierce, Josh Downs, Nico, Jaylen, Christian Kirk, Woody Marks and company, Jonathan Taylor. We have a lot of potential. Watch out for Tylan Warren. He's sick right now, maybe in, maybe out. That news just broke right before I sat down here, and for some reason I just remembered that. My CTA did not take over for that one. But when I'm looking at this, Woody Marks, a good rough start for the flex. I'm not counting on it, but this could be a decent start. Colts do give up fantasy points to running backs. Not a crazy amount, but if you got to make that gamble to this, would be a decent week. We could get some good back and forth. Nico Collins, you're starting. Jaden Higgins is a rough start in the flex. It's just a gamble. Christian Kirk's a decent gamble in the flex. Dalton Schultz, he's going to run a very good route participation rate. Should see 5+ targets. I still have him as just a touchdown gamble that gets good volume. Daniel Jones, you're starting, but you're more leery than other weeks. Like, the downside could be there. CJ Stroud, you're watching, but this is a matchup where you might get some good back and forth. Jonathan Taylor, I don't see anybody ever benching him. Michael Pittman, like you're starting, but you're more leery. That's the thing about this. It's more of a mess start. Alec Pierce is a deep ball gamble. That's it. Start, sit, he's a deep ball gamble. 50-50 play, doesn't matter the defense. We just got to bring in that deep ball. It is what it is. He will have a few more games this year, this game or some other ones where he splashes. Josh Downs, we need this game script to push for him to push. We need the game script to push. Watch out for Tyler Warren, Mo Alley Cox, next man up, blah, blah, blah. I'm not super into it. Dalton Schultz might be there on the waiver wire. I'd be going more his way when it comes to the volume. Niners, Browns, 35.5 over-under. So another low over-under, lower than last week. We might be seeing some snow here in Cleveland. Might slow things down. You got Shedeur Sanders. That ain't going to be pass happy, but he's going to push it more downfield. I look at all those wide receivers for the Browns as gambles in the flex. I think you're going to see Shedeur improve again this week, but he's also going to let that rookie hang out. Like, it's a second start. He's had like 5 to 6 practices with the ones. He was neglected pretty much in training camp. We documented all that, so don't say conspiracy theory. We documented every single practice clip. We documented that. Judkins, I like him for the touches. Now we got to see if we hit, but I like him for the touches. He will get to work in the red zone. You can call that easy. Harold Fannin, Njoku. Fannon's got some upside. I think they're going to try and exploit that. I think they're going to try and exploit Harold Fannin. I would go Harold Fannin if Warren's out and he's sitting there on the waiver wire if you're looking for a quick get-up. George Kittle, I think he'll get more than 2 targets. Looking at you, Brock Bowers, I think he'll get some good volume here. Brock Purdy's going to get blitzed a lot. He's going to be running for his life in this game. The offensive line for the Niners is going to have some trouble here with the Browns defense, as everybody else does. McCaffrey's fine. He'll get you there, at least to the fairway. This might be a matchup where scoring's reduced unless we break it off or we just score. You're looking at the wide receivers. This might be the day you sent one out. Cold weather. Big gamble here against that defense. This could be the game you set this one out. I'm not seeing many heavy hitters from this matchup. McCaffrey's fine. Kittle's fine. Judkins is interesting. I think he's going to get the touches. We'll see if we can score here. And outside of that, you're seeing a bunch of gambles. Jaguars, Titans, 41.5 over-under. We got to spread a 6. I think this game's going to be scrappy. I think it's going to go either 2 ways. Jags road dog it, or it's scrappy and the Titans make it ugly. Watching Cam Ward here, and if we can get over 220 yards passing and push it, you might get an interesting game script here. I'm not counting on the Titans running backs. They're big-time flex gambles for me. I might just shoot upside at deep ball wide receivers. Gunnar Helm checks in here. Okonkwo's got the Q. Helm was sneaky last week, might be sneaky this week, might see some volume, especially if Ailmanter's out. Probably in, he's got the Q. Pay attention to that. Trevor Lawrence has a matchup here that if the Titans don't get too scrappy, might be all right. You got Brian Thomas Jr. back, Jacoby Myers, and Parker Washington. All of them are rough flex starts, even Brian Thomas Jr. Myers had 6 targets last week. Washington has popped off here and there. Brian Thomas Jr. is back. I think one of them's going to do something okay. It's really hard to pinpoint it. I think that's just going to be a benefactor of Trevor Lawrence. I think Travis Etienne's going to be all right. Toot might get you the score, but he's a huge gamble. Brenton Strange is going to run a lot of routes. If Warren's out, Strange is another tight end to look at if you're hurting. Cardinals, Bucks here, 45.5 over under. This game script might be fire. We're watching Baker Mayfield, but that dog's scrappy. I bet you he's in there. I could be wrong. Bucky Irving, we're going to watch the touches there. He's either going to get sprinkled in, they're going to see how it is, or it's all the way. We got to see Sean Tucker step back, Rachaad White step back. It might be all the running backs step back. It's a gamble. It's just a gamble. I can't tell you yay or nay. I can't do that. That'd be stupid. That'd be me lying, even if I was right. Mari Demercado out. Bam Knight is back. Trey Benson not out there yet. He practiced this week. Bam Knight's going to get touches and opportunities. Jacoby Brissett's going to throw it 40 times. You're looking at Marv. He looks like he's going to be back. Wilson, Dortch. I think they're better flex plays than before the Marvin Harrison Jr. appendix. That being said, I like him better than a lot of other plays this Sunday. Trey McBride's a must. Cade Otton, I doubt he's there on waivers, but if you're missing Warren, there's another tight end to look at. On top of that, good touchdown gamble. Emeka Buka's been cold, But if Mayfield's out there, we might get some good push with Brissett slinging the rock. This could be a fun one. This could be a very fun matchup here. You're looking at Godwin back there. We could see some volume. It's predicated on Mayfield, and if we get good push back here with Brissett, this could be a fun matchup. Saints, Dolphins, 42.5 over under. Devin Neal's up. I'm starting Devin Neal in most situations. Most situations because I need a running back. If you're looking at him versus a wide receiver, if it's a wide receiver with a shit ton of upside, I would lean that route. Because one, it's the Saints, and the Dolphins are tightening up against running backs as of late when it comes to fantasy points allowed. When you're looking at this matchup, though, there is potential for him to go off. I think he's good for the fairway. I think he's good for that 10 to 15-ish, 17, 18, whatever, point range. I think he's good for that. But if you're looking for 20, 25 plus, you got road dogged on Thursday. It is what it is. Go with the upside wide receiver, Juwan Johnson. Fine for this matchup. Dolphins are good at giving fantasy points to tight ends. This could be a good one for him. Olave's got the Q. Vele could be a sneaky play for you, along with Tipton. Tyler Shuck. Bad quarterback play leading the fantasy production is what you're wanting here. Most of you guys are not starting him. With two in this matchup at home, we might catch some good back and forth with Waddle, with Devin H.N. Might be more of a safer start here against the Saints. And you're looking at H.N. and Waddle, you're definitely starting those players. Malik Washington here against the Saints might be a sneaky play. Greg Dulcich is a guy to watch out for. Watch out for Darren Waller as well. Looks like he's starting to trend back sooner than later. Watch for his name. He could creep back up down the road. Falcons, Jets, 39.5 over under. I don't like that over under. I don't like what Vegas is saying. I think we have potential to hit the over, though. We do have some good pieces on the Falcons side that could push it. London out, Mooney and Cousins. We got that connection with a 39.5 over under. I don't want to rely on it. Mooney's fine as a rough flex start, which I'm probably low compared to consensus, but that's probably just fair. Cousins, fine, but upside's not really there. Bijan, like always. Kyle Pitts, it's just a gamble tight end, nothing great. Breece Hall's got a matchup here where we might get lucky and bust a great one off. Metchie's going to get the targets along with Mitchell. We just got to connect. They're gambles. Mason Taylor's a touchdown gamble in this matchup. I just do not see too much back and forth. And if that happens, something's got to bust open. That could be Breece Hall on the Jets side or something busts open with the Falcons. I look for Bijan to have a good game here. And I look for Kirk Cousins to be okay, but nothing spectacular. Vikings, Seahawks. Brosmer's here. I'm getting a lot of questions about this. You got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. That's enough to push him over. I would only start Brosmer if I'm in a bind. If you're thinking about Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, like Justin Jefferson, like what do you got that you can start over him? That's the question. More often than not, I'm just going to roll with Justin Jefferson and see what happens. I'm not saying there's going to be results. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to start my stud. Jordan Addison, though, we'll see what you got on your roster there. But if you got something else that's getting 5, 6, 7 targets a game there, getting good volume, and their quarterback's in, you probably want to roll that route. You're going up against Seattle. Jackson Smith, the Jigba, is the only guaranteed player in this matchup. He's it. Sam Darnold's safe for the fairway. 10-ish points. I don't think this is a matchup that's going to go nuclear to get that upside. If you needed that upside, Thursday games. The Thursday games. Not really here. AJ Barner, touchdown upside, and that's about it. He's a touchdown gamble. Kenneth Walker, you got to hope he smashes on the big one. 10, 12 touches a game, but we're getting a lot of runs to the outside. We're getting that opportunity. Zach Charbonnet, you got to hope you get that touchdown. Raiders, Chargers, 40.5 over under on this matchup. I think that over under is kind of low compared to last week, and I think last week's dictating that. Offensive line issues for the Chargers. Raiders suck at getting to the quarterback. I think Herbert can exploit this. I like Ladd, Quinton, and Keenan. I like them, especially with what we got here on Sunday. I like them in this matchup. I think that's going to get exploited. I think the Chargers are going to come up big here. I think the Chargers are going to road dog the Raiders in this matchup. And then you got Kamani Vital here. You got at least one more start out of them. At least one more start. You're almost done with them, though. So be on the lookout with that because our boy Aaron Hampton's back. He's back practicing. He's going to be back soon. I like Gadsden in this matchup. I like Brock Bowers in this matchup. I think we're going to get some good opportunities here. Ashton Genty will get good volume. Probably should be able to hit the fairway. Trey Tucker's a gamble in the flex. Lockett's a huge gamble along with Thornton, but I'm not starting him in most of my lineups. Geno Smith, sure, if you're that bad off, more often than not, I'm not starting him in my traditional 12-man leagues unless I'm hurting that bad. Bills, Steelers, and I'm starting a lot of Bills. Because you're looking at what the Steelers are giving up. They're giving up a lot to the tight end. They're giving up a lot to the wide receiver. These wide receivers are just gambles for the flex. If I'm going to gamble in the flex, it's going to be them. No way in hell. I'm benching James Cook and Josh Allen on the other side. Rodgers might get enough push, especially at home against this Bills team, where he hits the fairway. I'm not expecting upside. I think Warren and Gainwell will both hit the fairway. I think they're both going to be at least okay in this matchup. DK Metcalf, he's going to be boom bust. But you're going to start him because this is the matchup. And if you still got players to start, you looked at the rest of the games on the slate, it's not too sexy. All the tight ends are gambles for the Steelers this week. All of them are getting at least enough work in this offense to surprise you. Broncos, Commanders, 43.5 over under. Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Terry McLaurin back. McLaurin's a huge gamble. I'm not trusting it. And you got Debo. Debo's going to be your safe play. And then the defense for the Commanders, they'll give up a little bit to the wide receivers. Troy Franklin versus Cortland Sutton. One of them are going to do something. One of them's doing something this Sunday. RJ Harvey, you're putting him out there. You're hoping that he gets more touches. Jaleel McLaughlin, watch out for him. You may start him in DFS. You may look at prop bets. He might get more workload than advertised. I think Bo Nix is going to be okay for the fairway. I don't expect him to hit upside. Marcus Mariota, I'm only starting in deeper leagues. Chris Rodriguez, I want to see him with a lot of workload. I want to see him get that red zone look. I look at him as a flex gamble, as an RB2 that you're not excited about, but RB3 you're kind of fine with. Zach Ertz, Evan Ingram, touchdown gambles. Giants, Patriots, I'm putting a lot of stock in this game. Drake May, the wide receivers for the Patriots, I think all of them have a chance. I think they're gambles, though, because Drake May doesn't care. He'll spread the ball around. Of course, you're going to lean Diggs first, then Boutte. I think Mac Hollins could be a sneaky bet. Trevion Henderson, this might be the game he goes blast off. Not a guaranteed start and get your results, but a guy you want to put out there for the upside gamble. Hunter Henry, a good touchdown upside play. Good touchdown. Him and Theo Johnson. Both of them. I like both those tight ends this week. Tyron Tracy, Devin Singletary. Might be a rougher matchup, but they might get there with volume. This is going to be more of a pass funnel. You're looking at Wandale with the Q, Slayton with the Q. You're probably going to see a lot going to Theo Johnson and Bellinger. You're probably going to see that. You're probably going to see one of those wide receivers randomly hit for the Giants. Those are the matchups for Week 13s. Your start, sits, must starts, your benches. Let me know who you need help with in comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.